Hey, welcome to the Rerun Lounge. I'm Remy. And does microplastic bother you? Well, place your fears aside, because the plastic we are looking at today isn't micro, but it is little. That's right, this lame joke ends with me saying that we are talking about the anime OVA, Plastic Little. It was produced by Studio Pierrot for release in Japan in 1994 and brought to the States by ADV Films just a couple of months later on VHS. Later in 2002, ADV released it on those special shiny circles called DVDs. Plastic Little is a 50-minute long sexy, or ecchi if you will, sci-fi adventure created by Kinji Yoshimoto and Satoshi Urushihara, the man known as the Master of Breasts. Wait, what? How does one get a title such as the Master of Breasts? I see. Satoshi Urushihara is a talented artist known for his stylish and sensual representations of the female form. His art is easily identifiable due to many unique characteristics that his subjects have. The detail of his eyes often include plenty of lashes, shine, and gradients. The intricate hair that he gives his characters can range from rigid and absurd, reminiscent of hairstyles you might see in Yu-Gi-Oh!, to free and fluffy. Check out those bangs. I think I cut myself just looking at them. No matter where you look though, there will be plenty of pronounced shine all over the skin and clothes alike, giving an almost metallic-like appearance at times. Mr. Urushihara is mainly known for his art of women, but plenty of the men that he draws also share these traits. His art, particularly character designs, were popularized in the OVA Legend of Lemnir and reached a wider audience in the tactical RPGs Langrisser and Langrisser 2 in the early 90s. Also, I'm certain that if you are involved with anime or manga at all, you may have come across his art at some point online, and if you haven't, you just did. So, I'm sure you've guessed it by now, but this guy is a hentai artist. And yes, he has worked on character designs on hentai before. Obviously, I can't show it, but I can assure you that his unclothed characters do have particular traits that would make them identifiable as a Satoshi Urushihara design, even if you can't see their head. Okay. So we know the creator, but what about the creation? Plastic Little follows Tita, captain of the Cha-Cha Maru, the ship with the best name ever, after she rescues a mysterious girl from a rogue faction of the military. Tita and her crew get caught in the middle of a dangerous game of cat and mouse as Lord Geisel tries to use a super weapon to cause ultimate devastation. But little does Geisel know that mice don't shoot back, but Tita does. Don't blame me for that one. It actually says that line in the synopsis. Her life as a moisture farmer, pet shop hunter, is turned upside down once she decides to take on the man in the biggest cloak ever. The plot is similar to a movie I watched once, but I can't remember the name. I think it was called Trek Wars or something. The OVA opens up with the desperate escape of our damsel in distress, Elise. Her father places her in an escape pod as the military closes in.
I'll be right behind. There's not much time.
Whoa, his voice is much more intense than his facial expression. And it's the same in the Japanese version too. I'm going to speculate that originally he was supposed to say something comforting or gentle to her, but it was changed last minute. So with Elise fired off, the military, led by Geisel, turns him into a transition for the title screen. Cue title. Elsewhere, we are introduced to our carefree heroine as she narrates the situation to us.
The Cha-Cha Maru is still undergoing repairs in the shipyard, so we're staying in this hotel. Oh, bloody nuts!
Gross. We know she is carefree because not only is she late, she isn't afraid of losing the pieces to Monopoly. After a smidge of fan service, Tita makes her way to the ship and lets strange children take candy from her. Don't do that. Children are dangerous. Her total disregard for stranger danger is put on full display when she steps in to rescue this stranger from these strangers enhanced with guns. Risks be damned though, Tita lives for the thrill. Or does she live for the girl? The two make a daring escape through the streets of the colony that she resides on. We got a pinch of Paris, a little London, and an itty bit of Italy, making for a pretty ambiguously European setting. Oh, you don't survive that. Or maybe you do. Back at the ship, we are introduced to the crew as they wonder where their captain has gone. Nicole, the crew's femboy and top Tita simp, is getting teased by Roger and his British accent.
She's probably enjoying carnal bliss with some good-looking stud while we, her loyal crew, starve to death.
You shut up!
Speaking of accents, if you watch the English dub, you will be getting a generous helping of them. They are surely...
That's not what I'm asking you about.
interesting. It helps sell the pseudo-European vibe the world is going, but man do they sound cheesy.
Tita, I think you should take your friend down to the bathing area.
And, honestly, kinda fun.
Could you look at my wounds now?
I'll be with you in a moment, Mikael.
The rest of Tita's crew is comprised of Mikhail, who once served under Tita's father, Balboa, an ex-soldier, and May.
I'm the ship's doctor.
Roger is the most mysterious member of the crew as he has the least screen time. Once Tita returns with her new friend, she introduces her crew and then they ask her the real questions.
Do you know why you're being chased? Tita and the rest of us might become involved, you know?
While Tita fails to flirt.
What is your name anyhow? I mean, after all, I can't just keep calling you Hey You, can I? Come on, tell me. You know, if you don't, I'll just give you a name, and I'll come up with something really stupid and...
Uh-oh, she's adorkable. Maybe she does have what it takes. Then, the girls go for a bath to warm up.
It's nice to see her so excited.
Bathtub?
Yes, in the bathtub, Nicole. Man, this guy needs to chill. Okay, so what follows is the bath scene, a gratuitous 3-minute and 13-second long scene where the anime pauses for a fan service break. Now, if you aren't comfortable with viewing censor bars being pushed to their limits, then skip to the next chapter marker where everyone has their clothes on again. I'll give you a couple seconds. 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, let's go. The levels of fan service in this scene are almost comical. While there is nothing shown below the belt, this isn't a hentai, guys. It gets what it is able to show and goes even further beyond. Scenes are angled in such a way that the screen is engulfed by breasts whenever possible. Tita and Elise stop to pose for the camera at one point, and the amount of movement on the girls makes me hope that the animators got paid well. This is where the jiggle counter always goes crazy. Oh, did I not mention that? Strangely, there is an option on the ADV Films DVD to turn on a jiggle counter, and it is exactly what it sounds like. A little yellow counter at the top right corner that ticks up every time gravity cries in defeat. Oh my Vlad, that's what it looks like. No thanks. I like my anime without bright yellow booba trying to distract me. Plastic Little and one other anime licensed under ADV at the time, called Burn Up Excess, are the only two releases to have this incredibly weird gimmick. I'm not really shocked at how short-lived it was, but I am amused by the thought of jiggle counter being registered in the US Patent and Trademark Office. Near the end of the scene, a bit of plot manages to rear its ugly head, and we learn a little about the characters, including what the hell a pet shop hunter is.
Oh, well, we capture the creatures that live in the Sea of the Clouds, you see, and then we sell them to collectors on other planets.
What? Character and world building in my fan service? Blasphemy. The anime quickly plays its tropiest trap card to break this moment up. Meanwhile, it looks like the crew has uncovered the dangers Elise could bring.
Something's going on, all right. Does Tita know anything about this?
I don't think so.
As you can see, there is a lot of Yuri imagery and situations between Tita and Elise, Yuri being a term to describe lesbian-themed anime and manga. While never outright stating that Tita and Elise are involved in any romantic manner, it is heavily hinted at. After the handsy bathing scene, immediately we follow Tita taking Elise to see the sunrise at the Windmill Hills. They clinch the outing with a breakfast overlooking the Cloud Sea as they talk and learn more about each other's pasts and current circumstances. Yeah, this is a date. Don't try to hide it.
I think I like you, Tita.
Oh, they aren't trying to hide it at all. What do you know? But they'll never go all the way, and they often reel things back by having the characters say lines like this.
I've never had a friend like you before.
Yep, just a couple of buds against the world military. Despite having them clearly state that they are friends, they are very physically and emotionally affectionate with each other. Tita clearly views Elise as someone that she wants to protect regardless of the danger that it puts her in, and Elise is happy having Tita in that role. To earn the Yuri label, there doesn't need to be a clear romance between two women. A deep, emotional friendship that flirts with the idea of romance still qualifies. Oh look, a bird! Another chase begins on the bike that I thought got destroyed earlier, this time with Balboa speeding to catch up to them before it's too late. Ooh, it's too late. You don't survive that.
That hunter suit should have kept the bullets from penetrating too far.
Or maybe you do. Luckily, Balboa swoops in to bring the two back to the ship. Unluckily, Elise already told Lord Shoulderpads the code to activate the gravity belt weapon. So what is the gravity belt weapon anyway? Well, apparently, everyone lives on this floating colony on the planet Yeta. The gravity belt keeps the colony floating above the sea of clouds. That's right, this sparkly stuff isn't water. It's thick gas. It seems, however, Dark Helmet had Elise's father unsuspectingly modify the gravity belt so that it could be used for nefarious purposes. Now it's time for the crew to shine a little bit. While Tita heals up, Balboa and Mikhail get into a bit of a scuffle on whether to follow Tita into certain death and stand against the military. Mikhail chooses to follow his emotions and loyalty, standing alongside Tita and by extension her deceased father and his former captain.
I will never fail Tita the way I failed her father.
While Balboa chooses the path of logic and questions if it is even their business to be involved with such dangerous people at all.
We'd never be able to survive a real military confrontation. Tita just hasn't figured that out.
In the end, it is a short-lived clash and Balboa, of course, stands with his captain. Tita, after earlier laughing in the face of an explosion, she now laughs in the face of severe organ trauma and awakens with a spring in her step.
I feel just fine.
And now it's...
Showtime!
I like how she says it in the Japanese dub more. Taxing the Cha-Cha-Maru to its limits, Tita and company make it to the depths of the Cloud Sea, and then she and Elise sneak onto the gravity belt. Oh, really quick, look at this. The way both Elise's dress and hair fall onto the floor and then make their way into this hole is just perfect. That is top quality animation made with love and attention. So far, the story has been fairly basic, but the animation quality has been no less than stunning. Okay, enough gushing. Tita and Elise are about to stop the activation of the gravity belt weapon. Oh, well, they get an A for effort, I guess. No matter, the final boss shows up with his minions. Tita shields Elise from a bullet hell, mostly, and deplatforms all the cannon fodder. Then Lord Geisel shows his true form.
Do you dream of me? Shall I sever your fate? Darkness falls. You will be quiet. Shall I give you despair?
But little does he know, mice don't shoot back, but Tita does. Maybe hold off on the taunts next time. After disposing of Geisel, the weapon is deactivated, but like any good final boss, it's not over when you kill them. You gotta escape. Through a barrage of shots from the ships waiting for them, the Cha-Cha-Maru dodges them all, somehow, and Tita comes up with a plan to finish the job.
I want all of the ship's power focused to the main forward radar assembly!
Nicole musters every ounce of cool he can spare before following through.
I'm going to induce a temporary shutdown of the main engine limiters!
So, I guess that little ship's engine had a lot of power to spare when the limiters get turned off. Like, that was a big fleet they took out too. Elise then heals up after getting shot.
That scar may never fade completely.
But now she has a scar to memorialize her triumph, which is a nice callback to this line from earlier.
Pretty girls like you shouldn't have to carry scars, right?
Tita has one more heartfelt talk with Elise about how much she enjoys having her as a lover, I mean friend, and she invites her to stay as part of the crew. But
I'm sorry.
Elise has grown out of needing Tita as a protector, it seems, but that doesn't mean they can't still be friends. And so ends Microplastic. Sort of. Don't go thinking that is the complete story, because you would be most incorrect. It turns out that during the development of the OVA, from 1993 to 1994, Mr. Urushihara was hard at work on a plastic little manga. It is a supplemental piece of media that expands on the crew's histories and personalities. Well, except Roger. That man remains an enigma. It is even joked about in the manga itself, though we do learn his full name, Roger Rogers.
Roger, Roger.
It's a fine prequel/sequel that does confirm that Tita keeps in frequent contact with Elise via video phone. Is she chatting with her in the nude? I guess I shouldn't be surprised by this. And furthermore, it builds the world a bit, which the OVA could have heavily benefited from. but despite that, it was a pretty fun watch. The animation is rich, detailed, and smooth all around. Watching these character designs in motion is a visual treat. The scenery of the pseudo-European world is beautiful and a good choice as a setting, even though it isn't lingered on very long, but I did enjoy looking at everything from the architecture, the food, and natural scenery. Tita is a fun lead, and her carefree yet protective nature comes across just right, without her seeming immature, which is a big deal considering a majority of her crew is older than her, and they do choose to follow her. When she isn't having fun, her serious side shows well enough why these people look up to her. Amanda Wynn Lee did a great job capturing the spirit of her character, and I never questioned if she had a fitting voice, though she can be a bit shrill at times. I find it fitting for the scrappy character that Tita is, though. Elise, while more reserved, is also a worthy protagonist that plays off Tita very well. She starts off as a standard damsel in distress, but as you learn more about her, you find out that she is actually emotionally mature and quite strong. Her reliance on Tita as a protector is temporary, and to be fair, who wouldn't need a little help if the military was after you? Tiffany Grant's posh and breathy take on Elise really does make her seem gentle and sophisticated.
Oh, you prefer the sea to the land?
Though, like the rest of the voice acting in the anime, it isn't top-notch.
No, I'd say about another day or two.
But it is charming. As for the crew, there isn't much more to say than I did earlier. The OVA isn't about them, and they have the least amount of screen time. And this brings me to the real shortcomings of Plastic Little, its length. Running at only 50 minutes, the anime doesn't have a lot of time to tell the story and offer screen time to the characters. It could have benefited from being split over 2 installments. The conflict between Balboa and Mikhail could have been deeper and longer lasting, thus giving it more gravity. Nicole and his crush on Tita could have been further explored, and maybe there could have been a bit of drama amongst him, Tita, and Elise. Can anyone say love triangle? Or maybe he lets his feelings get in the way of his loyalty to her, and Geisel uses this to further his evil schemes. I don't know, but there is some potential there. I can feel it. Though if any characters really got the shaft, it was Roger and May. Roger is only used to corrupt Nicole for comedic purposes.
Have you seen that idiot Roger?
And May is just a healing station.
I'm the ship's doctor.
As a whole though, Plastic Little is worth a watch. It's not spectacular, but it's a fun 50 minutes with more good than bad. It isn't so ecchi that it gets exhausting either, especially since most of the nudity is consolidated to one scene with brief instances outside of it. The beautiful visuals, character designs, and animation provide enough substance to pick up where the plot lacks. So, give it a go if you are okay with seeing major boobage at some points, and turn off that jiggle counter, you weirdo. Also, thanks for sticking around till the end. If you enjoyed your stay, please consider liking, subscribing, or leaving a comment below. Also, you might want to check out this video I did on Dragon Half, another fun and ecchi anime. It was great chilling with you, and I hope to see you return to the Rerun Lounge.